Hi everyone, it's Monday and I've just finished work for today. I'm about to head out to my local Japanese grocery store to pick up groceries for the week, so I thought it would be fun to bring you along. I'll also share some of the simple Japanese dinners I make for my family throughout this week.
I usually go grocery shopping once a week at our local store to pick up fresh ingredients like vegetables, fruit, milk, eggs, and Japanese staples. I don't usually buy meat or fish during these trips because I purchase those in bulk every couple of months, so these grocery runs are mostly for the weekly essentials. Although my family doesn't eat Japanese meals every day, I do make bento boxes for work regularly, and we enjoy Japanese dishes throughout the week depending on what we feel like. This week, I wanted to share a couple of our easy go-to Japanese meals.
I have just walked in from the grocery store, so I thought I would share. Whoops, don't steal the bananas. So I thought I would share the things we've bought this week. So over here is all our greens. We have lettuce, cabbage, cucumber. These are shiso leaves. I love to use these in rice bowls and onigiris. They're one of my favorite Japanese flavors. We have a couple of fruits, mushrooms, some eggs, canned fish. This is yogurt. And I ran out last week of miso paste and sesame oil, so we have some of that. And then my daughter's favorite, fermented beans, natto. It's Monday evening and time for dinner. I'm going to make some salmon and also cook these mushrooms, eringi mushrooms, together with the salmon in the oven. I'll make a simple miso soup and salad, and the rice is on, so dinner should be done in under 20 minutes.
Salmon is one of my favorite proteins, and I cook it quite often. It's an easy fish to prepare in the oven with Japanese flavors like miso, soy sauce, or teriyaki sauce, but it's also delicious with butter, garlic, and herbs. Today I'm combining butter, miso, soy sauce, and a little sugar to make a glaze. A lot of Japanese homes don't have ovens like this, but this dish would work just as well in the toaster oven or even using a grill or stovetop. Miso soup is one of our go-to soups that we enjoy with many meals. Today, I brought the water to a boil with dashi, then added tofu, seaweed, and miso paste at the end. It's such a simple soup to make, but it adds extra protein to the meal, and the miso gives it that comforting umami flavor.
The fish and the eringi mushrooms are done, so I've just got those out of the oven. Miso soup is ready, rice is ready, so now let's plate it and it's dinner time. I also have my bento box here for tomorrow, so I'll use some of these things to fill that, and so my lunch is ready as well.
And here is our first Japanese meal of the week. White rice with a pickled plum, tofu and seaweed miso soup, and a miso glazed salmon with vegetables on the side.
It's Tuesday night, I'm in for work, and today I'm making okonomiyaki, which is a Japanese savory pancake that uses lots of cabbage. So the main ingredients will be flour, cabbage, and then some eggs to make the batter. And then I'll use some pork belly for the protein, and I have these leftover mochis in my freezer that I want to use up, so I'm going to use those as well.
Okonomiyaki is such a fun meal to prepare because once you have the batter and toppings ready, everyone can sit around the table and cook together on the hot plate.
The cabbage is done, and that's the most time-consuming part about this. So now we can move on to making the batter. I'm just adding some flour, water, and eggs, and a little bit of dashi to flavor it into this bowl, and then we'll add the cabbage into that.
Okonomiyaki uses very simple ingredients, takes around 10 to 15 minutes to prepare, and then you get to enjoy them fresh off the hot plate together. As you can see, my daughter loves helping me in the kitchen, especially if she gets to mix something. Recently, I've been trying to enjoy her curiosity a little more. Even though her help usually means a bit of extra cleanup afterwards, I know these little moments won't last forever. Here you can see me cooking the pork belly on the hot plate first and then adding the batter, but apparently I forgot that traditionally the batter goes first. My husband walked in from work just as we started cooking and lovingly reminded me that he prefers the batter on the bottom and the meat on the top. Either way, they turn out comforting and delicious every time. Once they're cooked, we add okonomiyaki sauce, mayonnaise, bonito flakes, and seaweed flakes on top, and dinner is served. We just keep making them until everyone is full, and the leftovers usually go into the freezer for a quick lunch or dinner later in the week. On Wednesday, my husband and I had a day off from work and ministry, so we enjoyed a much-needed date day. We drove through the countryside of Hokkaido to what I like to call a little piece of Australia. This cafe is one of my favorite places to visit whenever I want a small taste of Australia. I always order a meat pie and a flat white, and somehow it puts a smile on my face. After that, we stopped to see the apple blossoms that were in bloom, grabbed ramen at a little shop with a long queue, so we knew it had to be good, and then headed to a nursery. I picked out a few plants for a small garden and herb garden before heading home to enjoy a cup of tea while watching my husband, also known as the gardener, work outside.
It's Thursday evening and I've just walked in from work. Today, I want to make a quick and simple dinner, so I'll be making some cold somen noodles and a salad with pork belly and a homemade sesame dressing to go on top.
Somen noodles are thin Japanese noodles usually enjoyed cold during the warmer months. You can buy pre-made noodle soup base called mentsuyu at the store, but I find it just as easy to make my own. During summer, I usually prepare a batch at the beginning of the week to keep in the fridge and use throughout the week. It's simply soy sauce, mirin, dashi, and water simmered together and then cooled. Once the water was boiling, I added the noodles and started preparing a miso dressing for the pork salad.
The noodles are done. They only take 1.5 minutes in the hot water, so I am cooling them down with cold water at the moment. So while they're cooling, I am quickly going to boil the pork belly and the dinner is just about done. I know technically you should probably change the water between doing noodles and pork, but today I cannot be bothered and no one will know.
Over the past few years, I've been buying fewer pre-made dressings and sauces because I've found I prefer having a less cluttered fridge and kitchen space. The simpler my kitchen feels, the more motivated I feel to cook. Once everything is ready, I plate the noodles, salad, pork, and dipping sauce, and dinner is done. This meal is perfect for busy weekdays, but especially during hot summer weather when you don't feel like eating something heavy. I hope you enjoyed this little look into a few dinners from our Japanese kitchen. I'd love to know if you'd like to see more everyday cooking videos like this. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week.